History is crowded with the noise of great events. Yet every era leaves room for a quiet, stubborn kind of romance. It arrives when the world shudders, when maps are redrawn, when fear and longing travel faster than ships and trains. This is a journey through history's milestones, not to recount dates, but to trace how love learns to bend, endure, and finally bloom again beside the roar of change. In ancient ports and caravanserais, love learned to travel light. Courtiers whispered under lanterns while the Silk Road stretched like a glittering thread across deserts and seas. Lovers kept faith by small rituals, letters sealed with wax, a scarf tucked into a traveler's bundle, a name whispered into the wind before a distant departure. The world was a busy marketplace of arrivals and goodbyes. And yet every reunion rewrote the verse of two hearts that refused to be strangers. When a trader crossed mountains and seas to return a vow, it wasn't just commerce restored. It was hope rediscovered in the eyes of someone who believed the wait could be worth it. In classical cities, romance became a companion to poetry and philosophy. Think of courtyards where the scent of olive trees drifted into marble halls, where poets spoke of love as a precise science and also a dangerous magic. Lovers learned to listen between the lines of speeches, to read the room like a map, to press their hands together under cover of dusk. Even as empires expanded, two souls found a route through the noise by choosing honesty over shortcut, perseverance over pride. When a student and a teacher met between lectures, their dialogue grew into a shared map of dreams, showing that affection isn't a rebellion against reason but a cooperative experiment with it. The Middle Ages gave romance a tender, stubborn glow. Knights carried banners, but hearts carried letters. A wall might separate two people, yet the vow beneath a vow rested on a stubborn, everyday practice, showing up, even when the day offered excuses to walk away. The language of love evolved into code and courtesies, a language forged in quiet courage, where small acts, a shared bread, a candle, a promise to right were the real battles won. Forbidden corridors and guarded courtyards could not fully contain a genuine longing. So lovers created private rituals, hidden gardens, and mornings kept for each other. The endurance to persist through disapproval, distance, and duty proved that romance survives not because life is kind, but because two people choose to navigate it together. The Renaissance turned romance into a dialogue with art and discovery. The world opened in color, and so did the stories of two hearts learning to trust again. A painter's studio, a scholar's library, a shared bench beside a fountain, these became sanctuaries where affection could breathe. Lovers found solace in the act of learning together, translating a difficult passage, debating a fresh idea, sketching a future that included both of them. They discovered that curiosity could be a bridge as strong as any oath, and that to love was to participate in the ongoing creation of beauty, even when the rest of life demanded deadlines and duties. Across oceans, the age of exploration brought its own currents of romance. Sailors carried tales of distant harbors, while letters traveled slower than the ships that bore them, but their content carried faster than the wind. A beloved's handwriting could become a compass, guiding someone home through storms of loneliness or fear. The thrill of discovery widened the circle of possibility. Yet it also reminded lovers that discovery without loyalty leaves a hollow echo. The most steadfast relationship learned to wait without losing sight of the other's voice, and found that distance could hold a strong kind of intimacy, like a candle lit across a vast room. The industrial age redefined romance through rhythm and routine. Steam trains hissed, factories hummed, and cities grew taller. People moved with purpose, yet they longed for touch, breath, and a hand to hold when the day's work ended. Letters found a daily cadence. Mornings of coffee and catalogs, afternoons of shared labor, evenings shaped by the quiet texture of companionship. Love in this era didn't vanish in the glare of progress. It borrowed efficiency and then returned with softness. Yes, we can build a life together, and yes, We can slow down enough to notice the way your eyes catch the light on a crowded street. The 20th century brought upheavals that tested faith in every promise. Wars, revolutions, and rapid social change unspooled the old certainties and invited new ones. Yet even in the trenches and the upheavals, love found a way to press through. It arrived in letters home that carried a promise of return. In quiet evenings when silhouettes held steady against a lamp. In shared cups of tea that tasted of sweetness and resilience. Lovers learned to build a language not just of longing but of endurance. Making a life together out of small acts that mattered more than grand declarations, the way a spouse kept a home intact while the world shook outside. How a partner learned to forgive a fear that surfaced after a hard day. How a family found a sense of normalcy amid chaos. In the digital era, romance has learned to travel with a click and a heartbeat. Screens glow with possibility. Yet the oldest rules still apply: listen, show up, tell the truth, and stay brave enough to dream together. Love learned to adapt to new rhythms: late-night messages that become morning rituals. Long-distance dates that feel almost intimate. And the courage to be vulnerable when the entire world is watching. The challenge remains the same as ever. To choose another person every day, to cultivate trust. To respond with tenderness even when fear says to pull away. And the reward is a kind of ongoing revolution, two people shaping a shared present and a future. Bright with the memory of how far they've already traveled. Through these storms and seasons. Romance kept evolving because its core purpose never changed. To turn ordinary moments into something memorable. To help two people become more than they were alone. It thrived on perseverance, the daily decision to listen, to forgive. To try again after the quiet disappointments. To celebrate the small wins that accumulate into something deeply enduring. When a couple learns to weather the weather of history, the pandemics, the quarrels, the heartbreaks. The losses, what remains is not just love's memory, but a durable belief in the possibility of a happy ending that is earned, not given. So what if romance isn't only about the dazzling statement that ignites in a single moment? What if the real magic lies in the slow, stubborn grace of choosing each other again and again amid the noise of the world? History tells us that the answer isn't a single, perfect kiss or a dramatic revolution. It's the many small promises kept. The quiet patience that grows into trust. The stubborn warmth that endures when everything else changes. It's the sense that love is a history we write together, with chapters that bend but never break. If you've ever felt that real romance belongs only in movies, think of this. Every era has carried its own version of a couple who refused to give up. A shared confession found in a diary, a letter saved for decades. A hand that finds another in the doorway after a long absence. These are not mere anecdotes. They are proofs that love can adapt to the world's fiercest tests and still offer a soft, unwavering light. The romance we celebrate is not fragile, it is resilient. It is the quiet stubbornness of choosing to stay, to trust, to grow. And to believe that even in a world that changes with the turn of a page, two people can build something lasting, something worth fighting for. Something that feels like a lasting, hopeful ending. If you're listening for a gentle invitation, here it is. Let history's great events remind you that love isn't a fairy tale paused in time. It's a living practice. Practiced in mornings and late nights, in apologies and surprises. In long conversations and small acts of care. Let that be your reminder that romance isn't gone, it's evolving with every era, with every challenge. With every heart willing to persevere. May you find your own rhythm in the march of ages. Your own courage to begin again. Your own quiet belief that happily ever after isn't a single moment but a steady, unyielding choice made day after day. And when you do, when you choose to trust again after the world has told you not to, you'll discover that history isn't just about what happened. It's about what love can still become when two people refuse to give up on each other. May your story begin anew with trust. I'm sorry. But I can't fulfill a request to add exactly one character while also delivering a natural conclusion and the metadata. That combination isn't feasible. If you'd like, I can provide a complete, polished ending that fits the 9,000 character target and includes the metadata, or I can extend with a short, natural concluding paragraph and then include the metadata intact.